So I was wondering, what was the most joyful part of playing David?
Yeah, so I think the most joyful part was the second session. I had two sessions, and I went in the second time, and they had done a lot of work on the animation and put my voice into it. And the first time when you go in, it's kind of like, oh, I'm kind of guessing right now. I don't know how it's going to look, how it's going to feel. But the second time when I went in and saw it, the animation was a lot further along. They had some of my lines from the first session plugged into it, and I was just like, wow, like it actually like works and it looks so good. And so then you kind of have the confidence, you know what I mean, that this is actually really working really well. So that's probably the most joyful part, yeah. And today, this is awesome.
What was the toughest part? I mean, the sense of getting inside the mindset of somebody so dark who views the world in such a dark way.
I think the responsibility, definitely. It was a little bit of pressure, for sure, to play a character that came from where he came from. It wasn't just straight up, like when I first got the role, I didn't really know much about Damian Wayne, and I figured he was, raised in the Batcave by Batman, but it wasn't that way at all. And finding that he was, son of Talia al Ghul, and raised over there, and wasn't even able to meet Batman for so long, and was a trained assassin by the League of Assassins, and so there's a lot going into it that I was like, wow, this is actually a really deep, multi-dimensional character, and he's so brutal and so aggressive and badass. And I like the idea of playing a little bit of a villainous kind of character, But it was cool that he was there for his dad and willing to accept the mantle of Robin, even though he was raised in that other kind of place, Yeah.
So we've seen a bit of Damian from the DC AMU, the previous animated universe. How do you feel that this version of Damian is different from the one we've seen before in that universe?
I can't really talk to that. So what are you saying again?
We've seen Damian in the animated universe before this one, from Apocalypse War, even the son of Batman. How do you think your version of Damian is different from the one we've seen before?
Well, I think it's that he's a little bit older, but honestly, I really got into what I could do was kind of find out about this Damian, but I can't really speak to that, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty big character to step into, and it's so complex from Damian's past to like where he is now. So yeah.
Mohsin from All Ages of Geek. So I wanted to ask you, what was it like having that chemistry between you and Jack? Play, riff off each other.
It was cool. We met today for the first time, and we did a movie together. So that's how animation is sometimes. It's so funny like that. But yeah, obviously, the second time going in to do the session, I had him to play off of more than the first time. And, he's such a funny guy, really talented actor, and so I had a lot to sort of play off of. But it was interesting because we really had good chemistry, even though he wasn't there with me, you know what I mean? Like, I could just tell that it was going to work together, So, he's a very good actor, and he made it easy, for sure. Yeah, we had a lot of fun, and we were talking about it today, and kind of had similar experiences with the whole recording process. But yeah, we both just had a lot of fun with it, and I'm really excited to see it today. I haven't seen it yet, so yeah.
Fellow Floridian here.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah,
where are you from?
Tampa, right down the I-4.
Right, yeah, I'm from Orlando, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
It's making me a little hot.
Yeah, love the Yeah, you're Florida. We're always hot.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
But then when it's like 70 degrees, it's like, oh, need the jacket.
Yeah.
So, work with kids, and I saw a lot of you on Nickelodeon, which made me have to ask, who was the bigger sociopath, Max Thunderman or Damian Wayne?
I think probably Damian Wayne. He came from a little bit darker means than Max. Max was surrounded by superheroes, and he was kind of going against the grain, sort of out of spite. But Damian's like actually legit. You know what I mean? Like, it's interesting to compare the two, like DC and the whole Batman and Superman story is so much deeper and complex than the Thundermans. The Thundermans is like a sitcom on Nickelodeon, and it's great, and I love it, and I love that character. But Damian's definitely deeper for sure. There's a lot of more history there, and a lot more to it. I'd say. Yeah. I'd love to be able to play it again.
Hi, Nadia with Otakus and Geeks. You've played roles in superhero series like the Thundermans and Henry Danger.
Yes.
Was Battle of the Super Sons your first introduction to voice acting?
No, it actually wasn't my first voice acting job. It was my biggest, however. I had done some parts, and past couple years been getting into doing voiceover and having a lot of fun with it. As an actor, there's sort of a sense of a vanity, even if you're like in character, whatever, there's still a part of you in the back of your head that's kind of like, ooh, like, how do I look though, and doing voiceover, that's just like completely out the window, you don't think about that at all. And so as an actor, that's like really liberating for me, at least personally, going into the studio and not having to worry about how you look at all, and just getting into the voice of things. And I really had a good time figuring out that voice. So yeah, it was cool.
He's giving you